All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Limitless Formula Racing League. We are back for the LGE coverage of the Bahrain Grand Prix Round 4 of the Formula 4 Championship. We are back for another race, and today we're here at the Sakir International Circuit. It's got a lot of turns, 15 exactly, with 5 kilometers. That's 3.3 miles long. There's also 3 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking, so expect a lot of overtakes at this phenomenal circuit as we get ready for the 17 minutes of the short qualifying session before we head into the sprint race and then head into the official 50% Grand Prix. But if you guys are new to the LGE channel, please make sure to subscribe to see more content on this league. We do content on LFR and LSR, both leagues covered here on LGE. That brings us 5 different days of league racing. And if you guys are enjoying the stream already, please make sure to like the stream as well. That would be much appreciated. So, in the commentary booth, it's myself, Formula Jonah, and joining me once again is my good friend Isaac. How are you doing, my friend, as we head into the Bahrain Grand Prix? We got a lot of drivers on the grid, and a pretty phenomenal championship fight coming into the frame already as we come into round 4.
Oh, I'm really excited. It's 24 grid today, so all the teams and all the drivers, and yeah, as you say, the championship fight's really getting going already, and it's hopefully going to be a good one. The constructors and the drivers both really tight still at the moment, hoping it can build throughout the season.
Yes, I definitely think it's going to be exciting. And as you said, yeah, the championship is already coming into frame. We're having a lot of racing out on track here in the in the Thursday division as we get ready for the racing today. It's going to be incredibly exciting.
No, it certainly is, and you know, with all these drivers trying their best to get us up on the grid, it's going to cause a lot of competition. I think it's going to be really close today.
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of drivers out on the grid. I think it's going to be a really close fight. As we said in the intro, a lot of different overtaking opportunities. And we know from previous events in the Thursday division here at Formula 4 that we've seen some incredible action, some incredible wheel-to-wheel battles between these drivers, and one of the best places to do that in F1 and on the calendar is here in Bahrain. So what are you thinking about overtaking and those overtaking opportunities with those 3 assisted DRS zones?
I think it's going to be really important to try and stick close to the other cars in the first couple of laps, certainly the race. You're going to want to stay in that DRS, because down the first straight and then down the straight towards turn 4, you're going to need to be in the DRS. It's a big advantage down those straights. And then after that, it's going to be really all about strategy. James has been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane, last season's champion.
That's incredibly difficult for the Bentley driver. Gotta agree with you there. Incredibly heartbreaking for last year's champion. Wow, that's a shock, to be honest.
I think it's exiting the pit lane. Perhaps he was just trying to let other cars do. If you go too slow, the game doesn't like it if there's other cars behind you. And unfortunately, it seems he's just gone slightly too slow, and the game's disqualified him. It's really unfortunate for him and the whole Bentley team.
Not the way that Bentley wanted to start this Bahrain Grand Prix, but they'll come back stronger in the race. James will be starting at the back of the field, but we know he can make a great recovery drive. Austria was a good example of that. After a difficult sprint qualifying for the Bentley team, James was able to get back up there and was in contention for the race victory. Unfortunately, wasn't able to grab it, but it was very close for the Bentley driver.
Yeah, no, as you said, it was very close, and it was unfortunate he wasn't able to grab it, but he made up, a lot of positions, so they're going to be looking to that today, as are all the teams. Like I said, Bentley are well in the Constructors' Championship fight, as are some of their drivers in the Drivers' Championship fight, and it's really shaping up as the first laps start coming in now.
Yeah, Big Weir's got a 27 dead as Pistol Racing in the Braun goes with the 27.7. There goes Lucas Paul in the Ford, a 126.8, 2/10 faster than Big Weir's lap time. And I want to get your thoughts, and I know you have some expertise on tracks. So what is your thoughts on the track kind of ramping up? Does this track allow for, does it get faster and faster, or is that type of track, or is this one not?
I would say certainly in real life we definitely see some ramping up. As it's in the desert, often the sand, it gets cleared away off the line and it certainly speeds up. In the game, I certainly think at most tracks you see some form of ramping up, and I certainly expect the track to get slightly quicker throughout the session.
Interesting. All right. Well, good to know. We will keep an eye on all these drivers' lap times. I expect a few drivers to start setting faster and faster lap times as we have been saying that. And viewers, just give me 1 second. You're going to see a blue screen for a few seconds, like 10 seconds at most, as I'm just fixing a quick audio glitch real quickly. I just want to make sure that everything's working on the game sound. So just give me one moment. All right, we're back. Thank you very much for waiting, everyone. Going back to the action. So Lucas Paul still on provisional pole position for the upcoming sprint race. The top three, all being three different teams as well. Ford, Force India, and Braun. What are we looking at for pole position today?
Ford have been incredibly fast in every race this year, but they haven't put it together in the races. For pole, I think you'd be hard pressed to go beyond maybe a Ford. You could perhaps see some of the teams in the championship fight possibly at the moment. Certainly at the moment you've got Force India and Bentley right up there in the championship fight. So it's really hard to say. Big Wheel is quite high up in second. He's the championship leader. He's going to be looking to try and get pole today. But if I was going for pole myself, I'd have to say maybe one of the Fords perhaps. Maybe a Lucas Paul or Waitsy or even Pryorturb.
Interesting. Good to know. Okay, so you think one of the Fords are going to be up there, possibly on pole today?
Yeah, that's my prediction for the day.
All right, well, we'll see if that comes true. I definitely have to agree with you. I think Ford are up there and have some strong pace in today's session. I am curious to see what Waitsy is going to do down in P16. The Ford driver needs to be up there. He needs to be flying. Also, Kingsholm on a lap. Let's see what the Force India driver can do. Janaudi's been pretty impressive as well for Bentley, as Keen David, not Keen David, Keen Benny. I know Keen David's in another session in LFR. I get them confused sometimes. Keen Benny in P5, top 5 for the Bentley team. Bentley didn't really start the Bahrain Grand Prix well, but they do have a driver up in the top 5. What's your prediction for Bentley today?
I think it's really going to be the other drivers have got to qualify high up because they need to getting some points to the team in case James can't make the necessary progress to the field. However, I do feel that James will be able to certainly make up some positions in the race with strategy, potentially with incidents, and maybe just on pure pace. So it's really going to be about the recoveries for James, and for the rest of them, it's going to be about really qualifying as high as they can and working together as a team. That's really important as Grunfeld jumps to the top.
Wow, good lap time from the Braun driver. We will see if he will be able to qualify on pole for the Braun team. But yeah, good prediction for Bentley. Definitely have to agree with you. I think James is going to be strong. I think he's going to come back stronger from this, and it's going to be very good for the Bentley driver. Kingsholm coming through turn 10. I'm curious to see what he can do. Down in P19 right now, yet to set a lap time, but he's looking really strong as he comes down that straight, that third DRS zone, where we could see drivers side by side down into this turn. This is turn 11 as we see Kingsholm come through this particular section. He's flying through turn 12 as purple sector. Let's see if this is going to be... It is purple in the second sector, so Kingsholm does go fastest in the second sector as he exits turn 13 down the straight. A little bit of a bumpy straight as we come down into the final two heavy braking zones. Turn 14, turn 15 as we come into 14. Gets a nice exit into 15. Kingsholm to the line. Currently down in P19 was purple in the second sector. Can he go fastest overall? It is only P2 for the Force India driver, but that is so close to pole position. 1/10 away to the fastest lap in today's session. And that was a commanding lap time from the Force India driver.
No, it really was a commanding lap for the Force India driver, and he's got to be happy with that. Second, he's right up there. I know he wanted a pole. He's going to be really on his last run. He's going to be wanting to try and fight for that pole position, but he's got himself a good lap time. As Zayek goes purple in the first section, I'm not sure if that's accurate or if that's just the game. Sometimes it does that, but he's on a lap.
Yeah, he is on a lap. I want to see what he can do. Currently in P8, I do believe, as he's got a 127.1. He's been very impressive in these first 3 rounds that we have seen as we come into round 4. Do you think he could be pretty quick in today's race?
I do think he's pretty quick in today's race. He's really improved, and he's made himself a really fast driver. Actually, he's had a bit of issues this week. If he crashed out today, this would be, I think, his 4th qualifying session in a row. He crashed out in qualifying if he crashes out today. So he's really going to be hoping he doesn't crash out in qualifying today. But right now, he's going towards the last corner, and hopefully he's going to finish his lap off.
Well, let's see what Zayat can do. Currently down in P8. Is he going to go to the top? Yes, he does! Zayak on to provisional pole position for the Braun team, and I'm sure he's going to be very happy with that. And as we say, the Braun driver has been doing really well, and look at that time. Zayak on provisional pole for the short qualifying, and it is a Braun 1-2 here in Bahrain. It's been a while since we said that message, because the last time, I think it was Braun, I want to say up there in 2009 at Bahrain. I could be wrong about that, though.
Yeah, 2009 bronze. Yeah, I can't remember what they were anything, but yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's great seeing them back at the top, even if it's just in the game. And yeah, they're going to be really happy with the 1-2 at the moment. Let's see if the other drivers that team can get up there. Pistol and BKS.
Yeah, Pistol Racing down in P13, looking for a big improvement. Cass in the Braun, I think he just went faster, if I'm not mistaken, or is now going on a lap. He's got a 1:26.9, so Braun looking pretty strong right now, as well as Ford. 3 drivers in the top 11, so looking strong as well. I also want to talk about the Jordan team. Now, they've had some, I'd say, difficult races to start off. I do believe they didn't really have a great Austria race. I wasn't commenting in Spain, so what was their Spanish Grand Prix like?
I'm afraid I also wasn't commentating in Spain, but I don't think it was particularly successful. They're quite a way behind in the championship, and it's not looking great for them. But the critical thing is they've got some of their full-time drivers back. Anthony's back today, so he's going to be driving for them, and he's really going to be trying to vault that team up the order, along with the others that are in that team, and they're hopefully going to try and rescue their season. It's not started well, but anything's still possible. We're only 3 races in.
Yeah, you're definitely correct. Anything is possible, especially in league racing, and especially here in LFR, as anything can happen. I think Jordan, they need a good result. They really do. I think after the first 3 races, like you mentioned, has not gone well for them, and they need a comeback. They need a major comeback, and they need to get a good result here today in Bahrain, and hopefully throughout the season before it really ends, before the new F1 game comes out. But we'll see how that goes. Currently, their fastest driver right now is Anthony, down in P10 right now, and looking to improve on that time. So we'll see how that works out. I want to quickly talk about Big Weir, because he's in P6, and he has won the last 2 Grand Prix. He won in Austria, if I'm not mistaken, and he won in Spain. So Big Weir looking really quick, and he's currently leading the championship as well. Came second as well in Portugal, and that might have been a win as well if it wasn't for HBO's Worth winning that one. So I gotta say, what a season start for Big Weir. The question I want to ask you, and the question we have to ask every single person here listening, is will Big Weir continue that performance here in Bahrain?
It's really his consistency that's been so impressive. He hasn't always qualified at the top. He has on some races. He's been up at the top in some races in qualifying, but he's climbed through the field in some of the races as well. It's been impressive. He's made up positions. In Portugal, he was able to command the race for most of it until the end when he lost the lead on the final lap to H. Bosworth, as he said. He's won the last 2. If he qualifies in the top, I see no reason why he can't score highly. Maybe he can get a podium again today, possibly even a win.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. We'll see what happens. I mean, expect the same performances from the past 3 races, viewers. We'll see what happens. I mean, Big Weir's been incredibly impressive, as we both have said. His consistency has been incredible, quoting Isaac there. But, yeah, we'll see what he does. Big Weir currently down in P6, looking to get a good result in today's upcoming Grand Prix. And we have to also talk about the track itself. Bahrain first made its debut in the Formula 1 grid in 2004 with Michael Schumacher winning that event. And it has continued to host incredible races, and most recently, in 2021, it hosted the first race of the season. It had in previous sessions, like in 2010, but that was a different layout. But Bahrain, since 2021, has been hosting the first race of the season and has really impressed as the first race of the season, kind of taking over the Australian Grand Prix. So we'll see how this works out. And Kiensom has commented as well, giving us a reminder that it is 4 points for pole position. So if Zayek qualifies on pole today, we could see him taking 4 points in today's session. And, you know, every point does count.
You're absolutely right. Every point does count. And that would be really important for Braun. Currently 4th in the standings for the constructors. So, you know, they're going to want to make some progress. They're in it. They're in the fight. But they need to start getting some more points. They have been quick. And, yeah, at the moment, with the 1 and 2, they're doing really well. Even casting 8. They're locking out 3 out of the top 8. That's pretty good. The same can be said for Ford. They've got 3 of the top 8 as well, and also 9. So those 2 teams have really come out strong.
They really have, yeah. It's been a pretty commanding performance by those teams, and we'll see if they can continue that today. All the best for those teams, and it's really coming down to these final few moments of qualifying. I'm actually riding aboard with one of the Jordan drivers coming through turn 7 and down into 8 as well. And his lap currently a 29.3, as both Jordans down in P18 and 19, they need a good lap for any of their drivers, and we'll see how that works out. Also, in the comments below, we did have a comment that came in that said pole position could be a 126.2, and that was that person's prediction, and I definitely have to think that could be the pole position lap. That's just 3/10 between Zayek and that prediction there. So is it possible someone could get into a 126.2 or something even higher?
I think it's absolutely possible. We've seen massive track evolution, apart from Austria, which doesn't count because it was wet. But in the other races, we have seen at the end, big lap times have come in from drivers, and they have really improved right to the top. It's been changing all the time right at the end. So I really do think you could see some people at the low 126s, maybe 126.2, 126.1, 126 flat. It's even possible. I don't know how much they can improve by. This is the thing. You've got fast drivers down there, maybe even in the bottom half of the field, who can feel that they can be up there in the top, like, 5. So they're going to be really wanting to improve their times.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta agree with you. The track has been evolving quite a bit in today's session and throughout the season as well, really, as you mentioned. So, yeah, who knows? I mean, we could get up there. I think you and me both agree that it is possible today. And, I mean, these drivers agree that it's going to be possible, because look at this. Everyone is going out on track. Every single person is out on track right now. So that means everyone has got a chance of improving on their times. And speaking of improving on their times, Jug's Life has just gone P11 with a 126.9. But everyone is kind of concentrated in the second sector. Those are led, that train is kind of led by 2 Force India cars. But wow, I think this is going to be interesting. The fight for pole position is going to be one of the most intense qualifying sessions I've witnessed here in LFR.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning. Some of these drivers, are they going to get round to start their laps in time? You've got Grunfeld going on that thing. If the drivers bunch up to start their laps, it's going to be really tight. It could even compromise some people on fast laps. So you've got to be it's going to be really tight here, and some people might get their laps ruined.
They might. This is going to be close, and I think it might just be over for some of these drivers. I don't know if they're going to be able to get... I can't even see the time, actually, because it just says Sector 3 yellow flag. I think that's good. And that's it. That's it.
They all made it across the line.
Oh, did they?
Their laps.
Wow. Okay.
The ones that run laps are able to just finishing them now, and the other ones have started.
Well, that means everyone can improve. His weight seat now goes on to provisional pole at 126.0, 2/10 faster than what our comment came in. One of the, I think it was Bix Mango who commented, who said a 126.2 weight seat has gone into the 126 deads now, and we could see a 125 as well, because Zayek is improving. He's purple through the first sector. Let's see. Oh, and he spins. Zayek spins. That's it for Zayek. He is not going to be taking pole today unless Waitsy does get disqualified, which I don't think that's going to be the case. So next to come across the lap should be King Benny. He goes P9 in the Bentley team car, as we see a few drivers coming to the line now. Kiensom has backed off. He's not improving on his time. We're seeing a Ford coming to the line as well. That is Prior Thib, who's up there in the championship as well. P7. Gronfeld as well in P6 might be able to improve on his time. Can anyone else improve and go up into the top 3?
Anthony's coming in. I think he's going to go about 7th, maybe.
Oh! Fourth!
And that's a good result for Jordan. They really needed that.
That's great news. Yeah, definitely. This is huge news for the Jordan team as they put themselves up in the top 5 in today's race. And I think with that officially concludes qualifying. Waitsy on pole position with a 126.0, smashes the predictions and goes into a 126, almost 125 actually. Zayak in P2. He was flying out there. He really was. And actually, he's just commented that said he said he was flying out there, and I think that little mistake at turn 12 affected his result, and unfortunately, it just wasn't today, but he's P2, and that is on the front row of the grid, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. And the championship leader qualifies P3. What a qualifying session. Anthony P4, and it's another 4 driver in the top 5, but wow, what a result.
Yeah, no, it was what a qualifying session. There's going to be a lot of happy drivers out there. There's also some disappointing drivers, potentially, but Waitsy, he's blown them all away. Look at that. More than 4 tenths gap at the top. Wow, and I think you also mentioned Kingshammer backed off. He actually spun his car. I think it was coming down the hill potentially. I'm not entirely sure where he lost it, but he rotated his car. He wasn't able to finish his lap.
It's incredibly unfortunate for King's Home. P10 it is going to be for the Force India driver. Bentley also did not have a good qualifying session. Their highest driver is in P9, King Benny in P12. But they'll recover as Waitsy qualifies on pole for the short qualifying as we head into the sprint race now, then the official 50% race as well. So we'll see how this works out. And I've got the feeling that James is going to pull a Kimi Räikkönen from 2006. If you guys are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Räikkönen suffered a suspension error in qualifying, but he made a lightning recovery, guys. He really did, and he finished on the podium from starting towards the back and finished up there with Schumacher and Alonso. So I got a feeling that James is going to pull Räikkönen from 2006, maybe going for what the McLaren driver did, and this time James will do it in the Bentley. But what are we thinking from this upcoming Grand Prix? It's a shorter race distance since it is the sprint race, but Isaac, I want to get your thoughts and just what you're thinking as we head into this upcoming race.
I think it's going to be really important here to stay in the DRS. Little mistakes that knock you out of the DRS. You saw how close it was in that session. I think it was like 8th to 13th, potentially down in that last session. We're covered by just over 1/10. So it's really tight, particularly in the midfield. And the key is going to be staying close to the car in front of you. If you can keep that DRS, you can stay in that big train, down the straight on the lap, and you can hold it together to the middle sector. Everyone will stay bunched together. It's all going to be really about pit stops, the undercut, potentially going for a move with the DRS and the RS if you can get it switched on. And the teams, they're going to need to work together. For example, Bentley, bad qualifying. They're going to need to work up, try and make up some positions. Those at the top want to consolidate what they've got. Yes, they want the points. But yes, I think you see drivers being aggressive, but not too aggressive, because if you're in like 6th, say, or 7th, you're not going to want to bin away a good starting position, just pushing for one extra position for the main race.
Yeah, good thoughts. Definitely have to agree with you. I think these drivers are going to take it I think they're probably going to calm down a bit. Like you mentioned, they're not going to be pushing too much. They're going to want to get a good result for their team, and the sprint race does allow for points to be scored as well, so that'll be good as well. So the drivers up there will be able to score some points, so any point they get will be good for their championship hopes and their team's championship hopes as well. So we'll see how this works out. We'll see if Waitsy can lead us off into turn 1 and the rest of the lap, or will it be Zayak or even Big Weir and Anthony? They're in contention for that as well. So we'll see what happens. But viewers, just want to mention one more time, if you guys are new to LFR and to the LGE YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe, not just to see LFR content, but LSR content as well. As the owner of LSR, I am incredibly proud to have the content here on LGE, and I cannot wait for you guys to be seeing more. So definitely subscribe to see more LFR and LSR content, and like this video as well. Comment down below your thoughts as we get ready for the 14 laps of the sprint race here in Bahrain. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal race. Viewers, stick around. Send in some thoughts on this upcoming Grand Prix. Share this video with your friends as well. Let's get this video up to around 10 or so people watching live. That would be great as well. So definitely do all that as we head into the race now. A lot of exciting action coming your way as we get ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix in the sprint race before heading into the official 50% race of the Secure International Circuit. All right, so it looks like we are ready to go. The top four all ready to go, as well as the rest of the grid. The formation lap is over, and we are ready here in Secure for round 4 of LFR's Formula 4 Championship, and it is 1 light, 2 light, it is 3 lights, and it's 4 lights, and the final 5th light goes out, and it is lights out, and away we go. Great start for Waitsy, not the best start for Zayak, who's under pressure from Big Weir, and Sad Pancake, who's already up into P2 for Ford. They're 3 wide, actually 4 wide, down to turn 1. The Fords making a great start. Prior Thib in the hunt, as well as Big Weir is going to move into second position, but Prior Thib is up into the fight. There's a yellow flag because of Zayak, who's down to P20, and Anthony, the 2 drivers that started up in the top 10, the top 5, have made a mistake. They have made contact and are down to P19 and P20, but what a great start for Ford. All 4 drivers in the top 7 and looking really strong as Prior Thib is going to try and make the move on Sad Pancake, his teammate. Pancake is still in P3 though, as Big Weir P2, with Waitsy leading the Grand Prix, and there also goes JW and King Benny and Lucas Paul in a massive fight for P8, P9, and this is just absolutely phenomenal to witness.
It really is. I mean, I had a little bit of connectivity issues at the start there, but it looked like Zayak and Anthony just seemed to get together. They tripped over each other. They both spun off, and now they're at the back. It's exactly not what they wanted. For Jordan, Anthony, that was not what they needed. They needed to get endpoints. I see James is already making his way up the field. He's already made his way up 5 positions. So Bentley have got a bit of a resurgence, but yeah, similarly Zayak, he's not going to be happy with that. He qualified so well, and it's just unfortunate. I didn't see if anyone was at full. I wasn't able to see because of the internet, but yeah, Waitsy 5 tenths ahead in the lead, but Big Weir behind in second.
Yeah, the gap is very small between the 2 drivers up there. Big Weir right behind and going for another win. Yellow flag in there as Lucas Paul out.
Not again for Ford. It's another driver out in one of the races. It's not what they need at all. It started so well. They were all up at the top of the field, and again another one's gone. And it looks like that's on the main straight. That's interesting. How did he get there?
I think he had wing damage. I saw him struggling a lot with going into corners, so maybe he was trying to turn the car, and I'm just speculating here, viewers, but maybe he was trying to turn the car into the pit lane, and he couldn't turn enough, so he hit the wall right in between, like the pit wall. He may have hit that. I'm not exactly sure, but that means one of the 4 drivers is out. And like you mentioned, it was going all so well for the Ford team, and a driver out is not what they needed. But they still have 3 drivers in, and all 3 are in the top 5, so great news for them. But right now, we have a VSC deployed. Here's what's kind of happened. Waitsy has continued to lead the Grand Prix. Anthony has been given a drive-through penalty, and Jordan's day gets worse and worse. As I was just about to say, Jordan really not having a great day, as all 3 of their cars are down in 17th, 18th, and 19th. And the only driver that's really in contention for a points or good points finish would be JW in P7 right now for Jordan. And he's actually trying to make the move on Cass, who's just ahead of him. But it really has not been a great day for Jordan. It actually has been a great start for James and for the entire Bentley team, as all 4 of their drivers are in the top 14, so looking really strong right now. But are you seeing any overtakes being held out on track right now as we approach lap 3 and the DRS also being enabled?
I'm seeing a massive train between, is that like, yeah, the top 8 really bunched together, then because of a gap back to H bars. Yeah, that might have been where a split came. I'm not quite sure. Zayak's only making his way back up, but yeah, as I said, disaster for Jordan. Anthony selling his drive through now. The Lyra Patch and the Unsainted miles behind. Unless the safety car, they're out of it. There's only CDMJW really up there fighting in 7th, and yeah, as I said, the top 8 really bunch.
Yeah, this is great. This is not the greatest start for Jordan in today's race, and when they needed a good result, it has not come right now in Bahrain. But hopefully they'll come back stronger in the next one. We'll see. Zayak is out.
Again, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, it's a virtual safety car again. Will it get upgraded to a full safety car? I'm not sure. Anthony's going to be coming through there. Maybe that'll give us some clues as to what's happened to Zayak's car.
I don't think Anthony's... Yeah, I don't think the Brawn is there anymore.
That's unfortunate, yeah. Maybe just got on the curl, maybe spun, I'll have to sit, try and find out, but yeah. But yeah, the top 8 still stay bunched together in the virtual safety car. They've got a bit of a gap to ninth, so that top 8 is really a massive scrap going on.
It really is. As Waitsy comes into the pit lane for a Ford. That is incredibly different, actually, to what I was expecting. But he's not the only one, because a few other drivers come into the pit lane. The top 3 stay out. Big Weir, Prior Thib, and JDM have stayed out. As Prior Thib gets a drive-through penalty. That is incredibly unfortunate for the Ford driver, and that means that he is going to have to pit and lose so much time. That's basically him out of contention for the top 5 in today's race.
Another Ford disaster. It happens every race, and it's just really unfortunate to see it happen again. It's on the sprint race. They've got a chance to come back in the main race, but that is, again, not what they needed. Jordan and Ford both having disastrous starts to this race. So yeah, really not very good for them. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting actually. The top 8 have stayed out. Everyone behind, other than those at the back who are lagging it further behind, have come in. So yeah, a bit of a split there with the top 8 and those behind. So it's going to be really interesting to see what works out here.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting. I mean, the top 5 all have not pit. And that goes the same for the top 8 as well, as the medium compound runners of Shug's Life and James stay out as well. Waitsy is 9.9 seconds behind Flea. That's the gap. And I think we'll just have to see what happens. 10 laps to go in this sprint race, and will Waitsy be able to take the lead of the Grand Prix once Big Weir and Prior Thib come into the pit lane? I mean, sure, Prior Thib will come into the pits, as JDM now comes into the, CDM comes into the pit lane as Keensome. Now that's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but CDM is now into the pits onto a medium compound tires. Was that a little bit too late from the Jordan team, or should they have pit a lap before under the VSC?
It was a no-brainer to pit the lap before. Maybe they just missed the pit lane. I'm not quite sure how that happened. He definitely should have come in. He's going to lose quite a lot of positions. Ooh.
Gronfeld has just made a serious dive bomb on Sad Pancake, who's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, there's contact! The Ford is round. Sad Pancake round. It's another disaster for Ford. As Sad Pancake is round, and it's just going from bad to worse for the Ford team. What started so well for Ford has turned into an absolute disaster for the American outfit, as Sad Pancake is down to 16th now, and he made contact with Gronfeld, who made a dive bomb. I mean, it was understandable why he made that dive bomb, but I don't know. Was there too much contact between the two drivers? Will the stewards look into that? We will see. But Isaac, I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but there was a lot of action at that point.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. And I'm looking at a titanic scrap here between CDM and Benny. That was a great move down at the turn 10, I think it's turn 10, hairpin, yeah. A great move down into the tight corner. It's really difficult to get that one right, but yeah, they're fighting really hard. But what I will say is, while it's been a bit of a disaster for Ford, Waitsy has got a bit of a gap to Gronfeld behind. He's the highest driver to have stopped. He's still in a good position to win this race. He just has to not make any mistakes.
And we know Waitsy, as he just does the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1:29.6. He's absolutely flying out there. And, yeah, like you said, if he makes a mistake, it's all over. So, we'll see what happens. But we know Waitsy. We know that he doesn't make too many mistakes. And we know that he's got a lot of confidence in the car. You know, I think he's got a lot of pace. So, go Waitsy. Just keep up what you're doing. Don't make any mistakes. I know it's very hard to make mistakes because, or to not make mistakes, sorry. Because, yeah, this track is very difficult, and if you do make a mistake on one of these corners, it's hard to come back from. But hopefully this all goes well for Waitsy, and we'll see if he can be able to get up there. 7.9 seconds separating 7th and 8th position. Flea on those soft compound tires will eventually have to come into the pit lane as well as the rest of the drivers. But the question is, will Waitsy jump Big Weir in the pit lane? And what will happen once that as we see Gennady off the track. Turn 12 is where Gennady is at. And he has spun off, and maybe that's just down to the tire wear. We know that the soft compound tires drop off really fast for around here at Bahrain. The degradation is very high. As meanwhile, the two race leaders come into the pit lane. Praratib coming in for that drive-through penalty. Big Weir coming into the pit lane for Force India, as well as Kingsholm as well. Both Force India in the pit lane as Waitsy is making his way down the pit straight now. Where is Big Weir? Where is Big Weir? As here comes the Ford driver. Here comes the Force India Big Weir. He's exiting the pit lane, and Waitsy gets ahead by a lot of seconds, actually, to the Ford driver right ahead. And Big Weir 3 seconds behind the Ford driver. So that undercut strategy has worked out beautifully for Waitsy.
Yeah, Big Weir will have the fresher tyres now, but crucially, Waitsy is going to have the time, and I'm not sure if Big Weir can close it down. It's going to be interesting. James and Sugar's Life have just been battling for the on-track lead. Sugar's Life went for a dive on into the first corner, but James was able to hold the lead overall, and he's actually gone from last to first at the moment. He has got a pit on this safety car would allow him to sort of maintain a kind of a reasonable position, although I don't think he'll lose hopefully too much. But yeah, he's been fighting with Shugs and he's still staying out there. He's on the medium tyres, so when he pits, he'll be on the fresh softs and trying to gain a bit more ground.
Yeah, this is great news for James, who's in P1, and like you said, from the back. Oh, Flea's out! Flea's out!
That could be a safety car. It might. Oh, I'm not sure. It's been a bit of a dangerous position off at the side of the track there, but it doesn't look like it.
That's really surprising that it's not a safety car. I mean, that's a huge crash for the Force India.
No, it would have been great for James as well if it was a safety car. He didn't have to get his free stuff on the soft. That's Janaudi's also. Oh, and that's a big one. That's a big one with Lyra Petra, and that is a safety car, and that is critical for James. And Praratib's coming to the pits at the exact right time now.
Wow, that's it. That's huge. That's groundbreaking. That's race breaking, to be honest, for James here, as he's going to be in P1. Most likely, he's going to be in P1, as it looks like Patch has been disqualified from the session, and that is the first Jordan driver out. But what happened there? Was that Janaudi and Unsainted that made contact? I'm not exactly sure. But has this just saved James' race and maybe got him in contention for the podium here?
I'll tell you whose race it has saved, certainly, and it will have saved James' race because he didn't catch the safety car when he went past the pit lane, so he basically got a free pit stop. It's absolutely saved Praratib's race. He served his drive-through and he's had his time to do his pit stop. So,
oh, you're right. He's in P5 now.
Because everyone else behind came into the pits because I think they all wanted softs. I haven't actually checked what tyres they're on. I presume softs. Yeah, yep. Loads of them are going into the soft tyres because they wanted the softs in the race. The crash, it was Lyra Patch and Janaudi. That's what she got disqualified for, or Lyra Patch got disqualified. What they got disqualified for. They hit the back of Janaudi really, really fast. And yeah, I don't know whose fault it was. I wasn't able to see. There was just debris all over the track. I think they got spun the wrong way. He got spun the wrong way, and then they got disqualified for driving the wrong way.
I do believe that is the case. Yep. That's unfortunate. Really unfortunate for the two drivers there. Janaudi out. Lara Patch out of the Grand Prix as well, being disqualified as James and Shug's Life come into the pit lane. What is Waitsy going to do? He's also into the pits. Does Big Weir stay out? Yes, he does. And that is actually very surprising. That means Waitsy is going to drop down to 4th in this race, and James is going to be in P2. He's going to be in P2 from the back of the grid. Wow. He's actually done a Raikkonen from 2006, like I mentioned at the very start of this race. Big Weir, P1. James, surprisingly in P2. And I'm speechless. I can't believe that's worked out.
The strategy of starting on the medium tyres has worked out so well. I thought it was interesting at the start. I thought perhaps with the alternate strategy, something could be done. And it's come to fruition. Because the field was so bunched because of all those VSCs and the crazy start, James has really been able to benefit here, and I think he's going to be really happy with that. As, yeah, a couple more drivers into the pits for the soft tyres. But, yeah, Lyra Patch's collision with Janaudi must have been quite bad. They got a drive-through for a severe collision. You only get that for very, very dangerous collisions, so it must have been with quite a lot of speed.
Yeah, it seems that was the case. It's unfortunate, but it's how it goes in racing. And they'll come back stronger because they have the 50% race coming up, and they'll come back and be in the race again. So we'll see them again today, and we'll see the actually every single one of these drivers, as all the drivers that did retire will continue on in the Grand Prix in the 50% race coming up. But we'll see how that all works out. So, Big Weir leading the Grand Prix by 3 seconds to, or 3/10 of a second to James, but the gap doesn't really matter, viewers, as this just is the safety car. But what does matter is the positions, and Waitsy and Prior Fib, P4 and P5. Does that work out immensely for the Ford drivers, or do they have to play a little bit of a recovery here and a little bit of a catch-up to try and make a move on the 3 drivers in 1, 2, and 3?
Oh, I'm not sure, to be honest. It's gonna be really interesting to see what they can do. Obviously, Prior's on those medium tyres, so is CDM Anthony, and obviously Big Weir in the lead. I'm not sure if being on the mediums is going to be very good against softs. So they may fly past, and he's really got to try and hold them down for the first couple of laps when the softs are going to have a much bigger advantage over the mediums. It's really interesting to see what they can do. But yeah, each team's had 1 driver out, so they've still got 3 drivers in. And they're all on the lead lap, so anyone can still win this. I think they'll all catch up by the time the safety car comes in. Anyone can get some good points here, so it's all to play for in this sprint race.
Oh, it definitely is. Yep, it's going to be pretty incredible. We'll see what these drivers can do. It's going to be a very entertaining race, and we just have a few laps remaining as well. 5 laps remaining of this Grand Prix, but it will be 4 once the safety car does come into the pit lane, most likely on this lap. And let me just quickly take this time to read a few of your comments, because I did see a few comments that came in. So we have one coming in from Zayak, I do believe, that says James will win. Big Weir so vulnerable on mediums. And what's your thoughts on Zayak's question there and his comment on the situation for P1?
Yeah, I think I have to agree, to be honest. I think Big Weir is really vulnerable on those medium tires. He needs to be trying to get a bit of a gap, but I'm not sure it's going to be possible on the soft tyres. So, when James on soft tyres, sorry. So, yeah, it's going to be really difficult for him. He's just going to try and stay in front.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. This is going to be really interesting. And, yeah, I think I don't really have an answer as well to the question. I guess we'll have to wait and see. James is going to be on those softs, but yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're going to degrade too fast, or I don't know. Well, we'll find out actually in a few seconds. The safety car is coming into this lap.
Yeah, it's in this lap, so as the Big Weir will control the restart now as the safety car's lights go out and it heads back to the pits. So let's see what happens.
Yes, we will. This is going to be very intense and quite phenomenal as well. But we'll see. Big Weir leading away. He wants to get the best start off of James, and James is on those softs, so he's going to be flying at the safety car restart. Same with Shug's Life. As Big Weir actually goes a little bit early and may have caught the Bentley off guard there, and that was actually a really good start for Big Weir. Let's see how powerful these soft tires are for James. We're going to ride on board with the Bentley. We're going to get telemetry on screen as well, so we can see ERS is 74% for the Bentley driver. No moves happening in the top 5 right now, but we do see Cass going down the inside on CDM as the Jordan keeps it going, though, as actually the Braun is just going to pull ahead with a massively good move on the Jordan. But here comes CDM on Cass once again. He pulls to the outside line, but the Braun driver will get ahead, and go Team Braun, because Cass is in P7, Gronfeld in P6, and Pistol Racing in P9, and looking to get into the fight is Big Weir and James. Swap positions here. This is for the race lead. Big Weir and James are swapping positions. James and Big Weir side by side into turn 10 we come, as they're still side by side, and Big Weir will just lose out to the Bentley driver as James is up into P1 of the Grand Prix. Shug's Life in the fight as well. Big Weir using a little bit of ERS. He's going to send it down the inside on James. No, he's not. He is sticking right behind, and now Shug's Life is going to get in the action as well as Waitsy. It is a 4-way fight for the race lead right now. Waitsy right behind these guys.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And will Big Weir give up position to Shug's Life to allow him to try and chase after James? I'm not sure. Big Weir's in the driver's fight himself, so he might want to just get as many points as he can for himself, but Shug's has the potential to maybe fight for the win here still, so I'm not sure what they need to do here. They need to work together, then, that's for sure, to try and rescue this. I saw the sad pancake got rotated down the hill on the restart lap, and there's a move going on here between Prior and Grunfeld.
Yes, there is. Grunfeld going around the outside of the Ford driver. This battle has continued on for the last 4 corners or so, and it is Grunfeld that gets ahead of Prior Thib, and now his teammate Cass is going to get involved as well. That Braun driver going for the move. There goes Prior Thib on Grunfeld as well. Now here comes the other Braun of Cass as Grunfeld and Prior Thib. A little bit of wheel banding there between the 2 drivers, but they keep it going. Grunfeld and Prior Thib still side by side. This battle has continued on pretty much for the entire lap itself. As continuing on, as there goes the Ford of Prior Thib on Shug's Life. A little bit of contact between the 2, as it's actually not Prior Thib, it's Waitsy in the other Ford, as the Waitsy will get up into P3, Shug's Life into P4 now. Was that a little bit too late from Waitsy, or was that acceptable from the Ford driver?
Might have been right on the limit. I didn't really get a proper look until they were already after the corner with the move kind of already made, so it's hard to say if Shugs feels it's unfair. Obviously the stewards will probably have a look at it, but he makes a bit of a mistake and Shugs is back there on the inside.
He is. This is the battle for P3 as well, so top 3 result will be great for Force India if they can get both cars in there, and same with Ford as well. But Shug's Life going down the inside of the Ford driver. He's looking for the overtake, but he has to back out. But he should have the ERS to try and make the move on Waitsy. But Waitsy's got a little bit more. Waitsy's got more ERS, so he should stay ahead into this corner unless Shug's Life is going to go for a move down the inside like Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in 2014 when they had a massive fight for P1 in the race, a Mercedes duel in the deserts, as Waitsy will continue on in P3. It is not a Mercedes duel between these 2 drivers, but maybe it will be in a few laps.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe it will be. That was a brilliant race in real life, and I think we see something like that today. Yeah, Big Wheel's lost the gap to James. He was sort of sticking with him until the start of this lap. It was about 1 second, but it's just drifted away. And yeah, I think James might have this one unless he makes a mistake. Obviously anything can still happen, but he's got a bit of a gap now.
He does, and I think Big Weir can't really afford to try and make the move on James and push a lot, because if he does, Waitsy's going to be right in the back of the Force India driver. And, I mean, he is pushing a little bit too much, because you can see the ERS is dropping a little bit for the Force India driver, so Waitsy is starting to catch up. So I think Big Weir is just trying to hold on to second position here and maybe get a top 2 in today's race, but is that possible? Because Waitsy is on the softs, and he's going to be on similar pace as James, and with James pulling away from Big Weir, that indicates that Waitsy might have a similar pace to the Bentley in P1.
Yeah, no, and he's got much more ERS as well. He turns it on now, down the main straight with the DRS. I think Big Weir can't really fight this. He's going to come past him, and Shug's Life might even try and make the move as well. It's going to be... Yeah, he's going to get past here by Waitsy, and not quite Shug's Life, but yeah, he's all going to be trying to hold on to as many points as he can now.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, now he's just trying to hold on to P3 against his teammate. Shug's Life trying to go for the move as well. Let's see if that happens. We also see a great battle going on for 6th position, 4 cars in this, as Kingdom goes down the inside on the Ford of Prior Thib, as also Cass is in the fight as well. King Benny trying to go side by side with CDM, as King Benny does get ahead into 9th position. But wow, what a fight going on for P5 right here, as Grunfeld actually has got the gap to stay ahead. I think Kingsholm right in the battle for P6 though, and he's now going to try and make the move on Prior Thib as well, as he gets a little bit too much on the power that could allow Cass to try and catch up, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. It's King Benny going to try and go for the move as well. He is not. He is too far behind. It's Kingsholm maybe going to send it into turn 13 as Prior Thib makes a mistake and he's off the track on the final lap. Prior Thib is out.
Oh, and there was so nearly contact. Some of the other drivers around were so lucky they just avoided his rotating rear wheel. There's not going to be a safety car because it's too close to the end, but what a disaster for Ford, another one. And there's really only Waitsy up there in second.
Yeah, it is a disaster for Ford, but not a disaster for Bentley. James, from last on the grid to first, P20 to P1. What a recovery drive from James. What a strategy. And that is one of the best comeback drives I've ever seen in league racing. James wins the sprint race, and he's going to be absolutely ecstatic with that one. 20th to first is absolutely done at Kimi Räikkönen, but where Kimi finished on the podium, James has actually won the Grand Prix from the back.
What a drive from James. Obviously getting the drive of the day there. Wow. I've never seen such a commanding almost recovery drive. he looked completely in control, and really, the safety car helped him, but really on the restart he was just able to get the lead and cruise to victory unopposed, really. It was a brilliant drive.
It truly was. What an incredible drive from Waitsy there. From James, and also Waitsy as well. Did a great job to get up there in P2. Also big wear in P3. But wow. I mean, look at that graphic right there. In the middle of your screen, you can see where they started on the grid. 20th to 1st. Wow. Wow. So James is your winner of the sprint race. What a commanding victory by the Bentley driver. As you said, he had complete control out of that and was completely consistent as well. So he comes home with the win as Waitsy grabs P2. As the Ford driver will get up on the podium. Great to see that. Big Weir, Shug's Life, Keen's home. Top 5, all being Force India drivers besides James and Waitsy. Congrats to all of those drivers. Cass in P6, JW in the Jordan does make it up into the top 7. Great result for him. Pistol Racing in P8 for Braun. Braun didn't get the best result in today's race as Anthony's P9 with Grunfeld rounding off the top 10 here in the sprint race for Bahrain. And viewers, do not go away because racing is about to start as the 50% race is coming up, and that is where the true action is. That was just the warm-up. That was just the warm-up, viewers. We're getting ready for the official 50% race, and that was an exciting Grand Prix. Who knows what could happen in the next one, as stick around for the upcoming 50% race.
Yeah, no, after completely agree. That was incredible to watch, and what you really saw there was the tyre strategy is really interesting. Just had a quick look at the tyre graphic. Only Shug's Life and James started on those medium tyres, and they made it up to 1st for James and 4th for Shug's Life. So it was really critical with that strategy, and it's worked out really well for them. As for the 50% race, well, obviously it's the reverse 50% race, which is the most critical element. We reversed the top 10, so that's going to put Grunfeld on pole and Anthony in second alongside. A great starting position certainly for Jordan. Again, they're going to have 2nd and 4th on the grid as that, so they're going to be very happy with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this will be great for the Jordan team as they're going to be up there, and this gives them the chance of fighting for this. This gives them a very good chance of getting up there and getting a good result for the Jordan team. So we'll see how this works out. This could be really good for them, but yeah. We'll see, but what a race. Truly incredible. Viewers, stick around for the upcoming race here in Bahrain. 29 laps of the Bahrain Grand Prix we're heading to. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We cannot wait to see what these drivers can do and how this really works out for everyone here today. Also, if you're unaware what the point scoring format was for the 50% or for the 25% race, which is the sprint race, that's what it's actually called. The top 6 get points, 10 points for first, 7 points for second, 5 points for third, and 3 points for fourth, 2 points for fifth, and 1 point for sixth. So that's kind of how that works out with the point scoring format for this 50% race. Also, in the actual Grand Prix, all top 15 drivers, so not top 10, top 15 drivers score points, and the max amount of points you can get is 25, but it's all kind of separated where the top 15 all get points, so it allows more people to get points in the Grand Prix and allows pretty much a closer championship fight as well. So I want to mention a few things. Viewers, thank you very much for watching. I want to say thank you for joining us here at the stream and watching myself and Isaac commentate over the 50% Grand Prix that's coming up, and also the previous 2 sessions that we did have, the sprint race and the short qualifying as well. Stick around on LGE because we have a lot of content coming up, but a few little just reminders and also some thoughts and just letting you guys know that we actually did have a video that was posted just yesterday. We have some live streams that have come out from the LFR races this week. So we had the Limitless 1 division and Limitless 2 division on Monday and Tuesday respectively. So definitely go give those a watch. And just yesterday, we posted another video. It was the pole lap from Betham's lap in the Peugeot Alpine from last week's Group 3 race in the GT3 Championship in LSR. So definitely go give that a watch. much. I was commentating over that one, so definitely go check that one out. And then after this race in Bahrain, we have the weekend racing in LSR. We're gonna have a break on Friday tomorrow. We'll see if there's gonna be any content. We have some stuff planned, but I don't know. We might have a break day on Friday, but Saturday we will return for the Group 2 racing of LSR, actually coming back to Bahrain. So a full week of Bahrain racing. So while you can get notified on all the facts on the Bahrain Grand Prix here today in the Thursday division, we got a lot of content coming away for LSR as well. So definitely keep an eye on the Bahrain races for Group 2 on Saturday and Group 1 on Sunday. But what can we talk about as we head into this race, Isaac? Do you have any thoughts as we head into this race, and what's kind of circulating in your mind as we head into the official Bahrain Grand Prix?
Again, it's about the drivers are gonna. Some of the teams are gonna be quite disappointed with what they've achieved there. Some of the drivers are gonna be absolutely ecstatic with what they've achieved there, and it's really the drivers have got to be really working together. They've got to keep up the pace. They've got to be consistent. They need to keep it clean the first couple of laps, but they obviously can't get too many positions. I think with the top 10 being reversed, a great format. Jordan are going to be really happy with second and fourth on the grid. You're going to have to see James obviously be starting 10th, H. Bosworth 11th, King Many 12th, so that's going to be 3 Bentleys in a row. They're going to need to work together to get through the field. You're going to see the Fords fighting back through maybe. They've not had a great race, so I need to get Lucas Poch needs to rejoin. They're not had a great race, so yeah, other than Waitsy, but he seems starting 9th because of the reverse grid. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, it definitely is. This is going to be a very fascinating race. Definitely have to agree with what you said there. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see, you know? I don't really have too many thoughts on what we'll be seeing because we don't really know. But I think it's going to be a very, very phenomenal Grand Prix. I think Bahrain is expected to be absolutely phenomenal and really, really entertaining, viewers. I think it's going to be incredible to witness this. So if you're curious to know what's exactly going on right now, we are in the loading screen. We are waiting for the admins to give the drivers the notification to ready up and go for the Grand Prix. Right now, they are kind of going into everything. And they are going like, okay, what can we do? Like, they're kind of going over all the settings, and then they're going to come back and tell everybody to ready up. So that should take, I'd say, maybe max of 5 more minutes at most, as they're already, I'm sure, going everything and just giving it one more final check before we are readying up for the Grand Prix itself. Another thing I want to talk about, we didn't get much to talk about in the previous race, but is strategy. We mentioned a few times that degradation is very high on this track. It definitely is. It is a very difficult track to race at in terms of the tires. They are very, very difficult. So we'll see how this works out. Degradation is going to be incredibly high. Softs do not last for round here. I've noticed that the softs only last around 6-7 laps for a round here, and then they start dropping off massively. Medium tires go around 15 laps before they start dropping off, but I've noticed that the mediums can go a little bit longer than expected for around here. But just letting you all know, degradation is going to be high. We're going to see a lot of pit stops in the Grand Prix. Usually a 2-stop is the best strategy for around here, in case you're wondering about that. But yeah, I think I want to talk about the top 10 being reversed. That is something that I definitely want to talk about because those Jordan cars are going to be up there. JW going to be into a good position as well. Gronfeld, I do believe, going to be qualifying on pole. He finished P10, so I think he's going to be in P1, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct there, and that is going to be the starting order. So the stewards are just reordering the grid. We got Lucas back in after anything that went off, I think, on the power. So yeah, he's reordering the grid, and I'm sure we'll be getting into it pretty soon. They were just having a 5-minute break as well to let everyone gather themselves after the long race, I guess, and short qualifying. So yeah, but we'll be in there soon, and the full race will begin. Main race.
Yes, we will. We will have the racing underway in a bit. like you mentioned, just a quick 5-minute break for everyone here in LFR, and we will get the racing underway in a bit. As drivers are just kind of relaxing, like you mentioned, after a very intense Grand Prix. I just got some water because I need it before we go into this upcoming Grand Prix, as it's going to be quite entertaining. So, viewers, I just want to give another reminder, send in a few comments if you have any questions for us, if you have any predictions for the upcoming Grand Prix. We will talk about that in a second, but guess what, viewers? We are ready to go. You can see the timer at the top of your screen, 25 seconds remaining, and it is counting down every second I say that, as we are ready to go for the race today. The admins have given the call to ready up for this race, and while we're heading into this, I think we got to talk about predictions. What is your prediction? Who is going to win the Grand Prix? And also, who is your top 3? What's your podium prediction for the 50% race here in Bahrain?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is. I've challenged you with something big, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
If I get it right, then it's going to be quite impressive. I'll go with, in third, I'll go with, I'll go with King Benny in third.
Ooh, okay.
Big Weir in second. I think he'll get a podium, but I don't think he'll carry on his winning run. And I'll go with... Oh, dear. You know what? I believe in BKS for first.
Wow. Okay. I completely think that could be possible. That is a great prediction. Definitely have to agree that could be pretty phenomenal as well. So we'll see if that comes true, you know? We'll see if that happens. And viewers, if you don't mind, I'm also going to give my prediction. It's very tough to figure out what is going to happen in the Grand Prix. For P3, though, I'm going to go Big Weir in P3. We'll see how this works out. But I'm going to go for Big Weir in P3. I'm going to go for... Ooh, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult. But P2, I'm going to go Keensom. I'm going to go Keensom in P2. And I'm going to go Waitsy in P1.
Now that is entirely possible. We've seen what Waits is capable of. We've seen what Big Weir is capable of. We know what Kingsham's capable of. They're all capable of that. And I think my predictions are always capable of the positions. So that's why it's so good. It's really tight and we just don't know what's going to happen. So it's going to be really interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, anything can happen in racing. I mean, we've seen so many drivers up there. It's going to be incredibly phenomenal to see what these drivers can do. I mean, look at your podium finishers last time out. Big Weir, Waitsy, James. That is an incredibly close championship fight. HPS Worth has won a Grand Prix before. The Ford drivers always up there. Zayat coming through the field. Janaudi up there. Keensom, Shug's Life was really up there as well. He was in contention for that. Anthony, we know he's quick. Gronfeld as well, starting on pole position. What can he do in today's race? Keensom in P6. Anything can happen, really. Anything can happen in this upcoming Grand Prix. So 29 laps await us for the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 4 of the Thursday Formula 4 Championship, TF4 as we call it, as we prepare for the 29 laps of the Bahrain Grand Prix here at the Secure International Circuit. In the comms booth, it's myself, Formula Jonah, and Isaac, bringing you all the action from LFR's Formula 4 race. We are ready to go for the Grand Prix. We raced in Portugal, we raced in Austria, we raced in Spain. We're now here in Bahrain as we get ready for the Grand Prix here in the Secure International Circuit.
Yes, we are, and the championship fight was well underway, and yeah, it's really close. Anything can happen. We're starting to get a kind of picture, almost, of how the season might play out. But it's really too early to tell. Anyone could still win anything from here, and the drivers, they're all going to be gunning for it, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they can all do. I think anyone in this field will feel that they're capable of getting points today. Anyone in this field will feel they're capable of getting a good points finish today. A lot of the drivers will feel like, you know what, I can get a podium, I can get a win here today. So, with strategy, with the pace, with incidents, anything can happen. And it's going to be so exciting to see what can happen.
It's a good confidence booster, I'd say. I think a lot of these drivers have a lot of confidence, a lot of courage, which is something you don't like I'd say it's really difficult to do. I mean, I have no confidence when I head into the Grand Prix. I'm just hoping for a good race when I'm racing. So it's great to see that people have like confidence in themselves. They have a lot of courage, which is great to see. I think that is something that is really valuable for racing. And yeah, it's really hard to find when you're in such a difficult position, when the maybe when your setup is not completely there. But it seems like these drivers know what to do. They're ready. They're ready to go for the racing here today. Gronfeld on pole, Anthony P2, Pistol Racing P3. Will that stay the same? Well, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. So, we're ready to go. The formation lap is over. I'm Formula Jonah, that's Isaac, and we're ready to go for the commentary today. Stick around, viewers, for the upcoming Grand Prix. There's one light, there's two lights, and we are ready to go here in Bahrain for the Secure International Circuit race, and it is lights out here in LFR, as it is a great start for Gronfeld, who leads us away by 0.3 of a second, but it is Anthony that gets a great start off of Gronfeld. He now leads us away, the Jordan team lead us away down into turn one. Anthony leads the Grand Prix. Gronfeld and Pistol racing side by side, it looks like, as Pistol gets up into P2, Kingdom into P5 now, as it looks like Waitsy is down to 16th position. There's a Ford off the track, and is that Prior Thib? Yes, it is. It's Prior Thib off the track. Zayak up into P14 of the Grand Prix, as Cass and Kingdom side by side into turn 5, into 6 and 7 we go. Kingdom and Cass side by side as we come down to A. Is Cass gonna send it? No, he's gonna stick right behind Kingdom, who gets up into P5.
No, what a hectic start, wow. And you just saw, yeah, you saw Priative spinning around the back. I think, yeah, some drivers have lost a lot of positions there. One of them, Waits, he's down 7 positions. Not a good start for the 14. They needed to be coming back to the field again to try and get some more points, but it's just not worked out that way. But again, it's that Pancake reversely is up 7 places for Ford, so mixed fortunes for that team, and all the drivers seem to have got through fairly cleanly. Everyone still bunched fairly well together. No safety car.
Yeah, no safety car just yet. This is good. This is good racing. As we see some more wheel-to-wheel action between Big Weir and Sad Pancake. Pancake gets up into 7th, and Big Weir down into P8 now. Now, that is expected, though, because he's on the hard compound tires. And it makes sense why he is struggling with those hards, as we see Jordan going for a 1-2 right now in the upcoming Grand Prix. Pistol Racing and JW side by side, but JW gets a little bit of a mistake off of turn 1. But Pistol Racing is going to be under threat from the Jordan driver, who's coming back at the Braun driver as we come down into turn 4. That heavy braking zone, the two are side by side, and it is Jordan 1-2 here in Bahrain. And what was a difficult start to the season has turned into a really commanding performance by the Jordan team, as they're 1-2 here at the Secure International Circuit. Anthony ahead of JW, as that is a car off the track. That's Shug's Life off the track at turn 7.
That's not great for them, but it is great for Jordan. What a start. And they're really need to be maintaining these positions now, because it's actually done so well for them. It's really good to see them put the front after such a bad start to the season. They're finally getting it together, it seems like, and possibly with some of their full-time drivers back, like Anthony. I think he's been missing their first 3 races. I don't know exactly why, but he's not been here, but now he is, and now they are finally showing their pace. They're finally showing what they're capable of. Oh no, commentators curse, CDM's out.
Oh my goodness, no! And there's a lot of cars off the track. Both bronze. Oh, more contact. As we see Cass round, he's got wing damage. Prior Thib off the track as well. I think Zayak has come away actually out of that. Gronfeld, that's who's involved. James involved. Shug's Life is coming through this now. A lot of drivers involved. This is commentator's curse, unfortunately, as we were just saying such good things about Jordan, and now it's turned into absolute disaster for one of their cars out of the Grand Prix. JW, who spins, and he's caused a lot of contact out on track. Gronfeld off the track. Cass down the order too. Both bronze involved in this, as a lot of cars in the pit lane, as a full course safety cars out on track on lap 3. It's expected, though, because of the major contact at turn 12.
Yeah, BKS with a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Gronfeld with a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with H. Bosworth. So a lot of drivers got caught up in that incident, and a lot of drivers seem to have some damage. It's really shaking up the field, and again, the commentator's curse. I'm very sorry to Jordan, because it's been going so well. They had a 1-2, and it's all of a sudden it's just been blown off again. All that talk of a good finish seems to have evaporated all of a sudden. There's still got a driver up the front, so it's still possible, but that second place car it's gone now. Zayek up 12 positions now, even with some cars boxing. That's very impressive after just 2 laps.
Yeah, great start from Zayek. He avoided that really nicely. He got up into P6 now. It's a great start for the Braun driver, as Braun need a good result in today's race, as 2 of their drivers are down the order. Cass and Gronfeld, both drivers are very fast, and we know that they are capable of being race winners, and now they're down to 15th and 19th. Not a great start for them. And Pistol Racing is up into 2nd position, so they have 1 car in the top 3. That's great news. And another car in the top 6. So Braun, well, they have lost out a bit. They still have 2 drivers in contention for the race victory, which is great news for them. But the safety car should be coming in this lap, or next lap, actually, because the cars have not caught up to the safety car quite yet. So we should get another lap before we get the racing underway.
No, absolutely. And my predictions aren't doing too well, Benny, because I've both lost places. But how are your predictions doing?
What was my predictions? It was Waitsy winning the Grand Prix. Waitsy did not have a great start. He's back up into P7 though. P2 was Keen's home, so that's kind of close. And P3 was Big Weir. So I guess that's Keen's home P3, Big Weir P4. If they gain a position, then they're going to be up into 2nd and 3rd. And I mean, my predictions are close, but they're far from it, I guess.
Yeah, but you're a lot closer than me, so yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. But yeah, certainly exciting. And no, it's gonna have to be. We're gonna be going out to green this lap, I think, and then safety car probably pulling. Everyone's caught up, so although Grandpa is in the pits actually, but he should catch up before the end of the lap anyway. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens on the restart with a lot of the drivers gonna be wanting to still continue to fight through the field. There's some of them have made up quite a lot of positions, some of them have lost quite a lot of positions, and that was a big incident on just the 2nd lap of the race. So let's hope we can keep it cleaner for the rest of the race, and hopefully most of these drivers will be able to get a position they're happy with by the end.
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be very intense. We'll see what happens. It's going to be incredibly close between all these drivers. As we are now on lap 4, safety cars should be coming in this lap, and the Aston Martin should peel into the pit lane, and Anthony will take control of the safety car.
Yeah, no, he absolutely will. And then we've got three different teams in the top 3, and then you've got Big Weir in 4th, as ever, leading the championship in the championship fight. So he's going to want to maintain that position, and then you've got Bentley, another Braun, and a Ford. So there's a real mix of teams up at the top of the grid, and safety cars coming in this lap.
Oh, yeah, it is coming in this lap. That's interesting. Okay, well, Anthony will take over as the leader for now. He will go when he feels he is ready to go. And the question is, will the soft runners pull away from the medium runners, and will Big Weir lose out because he's on those hard compound tires?
He is on those hard compound tires. It's a bit of a different strategy. I think he's certainly vulnerable with tyre wall and also grip out on the restart, but we're going to see.
Oh, Anthony's off. Anthony spun. Anthony spun. The race leader has spun. Now he's falling down the order faster than I can catch up to him. This is heartbreak for the Jordan team. It has gone from bad to worse for Anthony, who's basically out of this race. Zayek making a move on Waitsy as he's up in the P5 now. Great move from Zayek. Pistol Racing leads the Grand Prix off of the 2 Force Indias in 2nd and 3rd position. HBO's Worth in 4th as we see Zayek and Waitsy side by side. Zayek gets up into P5, Waitsy into P6 as we see the Jordan of Unsainted in this fight for P7, and he's the lone Jordan in the top 10.
It's a disaster for Jordan again. This commentator's curse. It's all gone wrong. But the Unsainted goes off and loses another position. Everything's going wrong for Jordan today. It's just not working out. And
it is really not working out.
I do not know what happened there, but Anthony just seemed to lose the back end on spin. But yeah, we got Pistol leading now. As it's a big scrap going on here for the positions in the bottom half of the points, bottom lower half of the points as they go side by side up the hill. But yeah, Pistol's leading. I think it's his Thursday debut this week as a reserve. So yeah, that's quite interesting.
That is quite interesting, yeah. Oh, as we see Keen David making a move on the Jordan. It's really not working out for Unsainted right now and the rest of the Jordan cars. But wow.
Oh, Unsainted's made a big error. He's brake too late. He's hit the back of that pancake and he's spun off and got damage again. He's got to go into hit. Then Jordan's race has collapsed.
It has collapsed, and he's gotten a 5-second time penalty in the process. Oh, and that is Flea out of the race. Flea out of the race. That's a major crash. That could be another safety car, and it is. It's a second safety car, and we haven't even completed at least one lap, really. As Flea's out of the race, that is a massive crash for the Force India driver, and that is our second safety car of the day.
Did you see what happened? I wasn't able to catch it, but...
All I saw was the car slid into the wall and the wheel came off flying. That was what I saw.
Well, he's on the left side of the track. Maybe he clipped the back of someone. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, he's all the way up on the left side of the track and now his car disappeared. So yeah, it's really unfortunate for Flea. Not what they needed. It's a bit of a disaster for Jordan though, isn't it? I mean, 20th, it'll be 19th when Anti-passes Flea's DNF car, 17th and 15th at the moment. All from first and second, 2 laps into the race. What has gone wrong?
It really has not gone right for the team here. It's unfortunate, but it's how it goes. Racing will continue on as Jordan really struggling in today's race. Flea down in P19 out of the race for today. But I gotta say, it's been a great start for Ford. All 4 of their cars are in the top 10. Bentley up there in the points as well. HBO's Worth in P4, James in P8, and the 2 Force Indias and the 2 Bronze up there in the top 5. So it's going quite well, actually. It's going quite well.
No, it's an absolute... Yeah, this has been a standout performance, particularly from Zayek up 30, and some of the drivers just come into the pits, their pit stops. So one of those drivers have made up 12 positions. I can't quite remember exactly who it was now, but they've boxed, and yeah, they're going to do their pit stop now. But Ford, some of them are pitted now on the things in here, but yeah, you're right, there was 4 in the top 10, and that's exactly what they need. They need a good race, because they always qualify so well, and it all just seems to collapse in the races. So maybe today will be the day when they finally all get a consistent points finish and lift themselves back up in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this works. This will give them a great result, hopefully. But we'll see, actually. I don't know. Lap 7 is about to end. Safety car is going to come in this lap, and I'm sure of it, actually. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, just taking a quick look at the standings here for Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, Big Wheel's got the lead of the championship. Quite a sizable margin. Still very early days in this championship, and we've seen anything can happen. But yeah, James in second, and then Kingsheim, H. Smith, Gennady, BKS, King Benny. So that's actually Bentley with 4 of the top 7 in the Drivers' Championship, but it's still Force India that lead the way in the Constructors with that massive points haul that Big Wheels brought home, and Kingsheim in 3rd. So yeah, it's looking like a good battle between those 2 teams. I mean, 9 points between them, and Ford a little bit further back with Braun and Jordan bringing up the Constructors' rear at the moment.
Yes, it is. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. The championship standings looking really, really tight up at the front. Safety car actually is not going to come into the pit lane because we still have Anthony making his way through the field. So we'll have another lap at the safety car. I feel like the entire race has been safety car. We need some racing out on track.
No, it really has. Even the sprint was VSC heavy. Was it 2 VSCs and a safety car? And then this one, 2 safety cars. So yeah, it's been really heavy on safety cars this weekend so far, and the drivers are going to be itching to get back racing again, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they actually do, because some drivers are coming into the pits. Could that work out for them, having done their pit stop early? I think potentially, you know, it could. Everyone from out on the top 8 has actually done their pit stop, so Benny, all of a sudden, my prediction, is doing quite well, and BKS is doing quite well as well, so yeah, it's suddenly looking up a bit for me.
Yeah, it actually is. We could get your prediction for the race results, actually. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be one of the most intense restarts for everyone on the grid today, as it matters. This matters. This is what's going to set them up for their result in the Grand Prix. I'm curious to see what Pistol Racing is going to do, because the thing is, he's on 7-lap-old soft compound tires. Those tires must be really degraded at this point.
No, you're right. There must be Big Weird's doing good stuff on the hards, but he's just not going to sit out there for longer. But the longer this goes on, the longer we can sit out there and switch to his soft. And the same for the medium runners. They're going to be doing a similar thing. Pistol Racing, though, he's staying out on them soft tires. When he pits, he might be able to go to the end. I don't know if it's a 1-stop or a 2-stop. You might have to remind me on that. But yeah. Those drivers that are pitted, this could work out really well for them if they think they can make it against the end, particularly those that have gone to the hard tyre. Easily comfortable to the end from here, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yes, we will see what happens. It's going to be very, very peculiar, and there's a safety car coming in. We will see. I'm going to actually ride on board with Pistol Racing in a moment so we can see exactly when he goes, because we saw Big Weird go a little bit earlier before turn 14's heavy braking zone. So is that going to be the same thing for Pistol Racing? And if so, will that allow him to get away from Keenshelm and Big Weir and the rest of the drivers? But the thing is, too, is if he goes now, Big Weir will know that because he's done it before. But no, he's going to wait. And he's going to go now, and he actually gets a very good start off of Keenshelm, and that was around 0.8 of a second he has gained off of the Force India driver. What a start for Pistol Racing.
Yeah, no, Waitsy's got a good restart. Side by side with Zayat down to turn 1, but yeah, it was a brilliant restart by him. As these two steam into turn 1, it's going to be very tight here. It's going to be side by side to the next bit, and Zayat gets ahead. Oh! Wait, he's in the wall! No, it's all gone wrong again.
No, Waitsy out of the race. That's my prediction gone, but wow, Waitsy out. That is incredibly unfortunate for the Ford driver, and it has just gone from bad to worse, really, for Ford, as it just seems like it's gone wrong again. Waitsy out. Was there contact with Zayek, or is that all on his own?
Zayek was past him. Zayek was pretty much in front. I didn't see if he made contact with anyone. There's nothing on Race Direct to show he's had contact with anyone either, so unless it was very light, I'm not sure. It may have just been on his own, but it felt like he had control. It didn't look like he was in anything for me, and then all of a sudden he came back to the left, and from the car just pitched into the wall. So I'm wondering, it's contact with maybe James or someone from behind.
Oh, Sad Pancake almost hits the back of James and retires from that. Actually, he may have spun and hit the wall there. But yeah, good to know. It looks like Zayek did not make contact with Waitsy. It looks to be Waitsy's own fault, it seems, but I'm not exactly sure what happened there. We'll have to review that. It's incredibly unfortunate for Waitsy to be out of the race. He was doing so well and was going to be up into a possible top 3. As James, the race winner from just a few moments ago, was actually making a move on Zayek. I think he's going to send it down the inside on the Braun driver. Is Zayek going to keep it going? Yes, he does. James is actually going to swap it to the other side of the track. And I've got a feeling maybe Waitsy was trying to get the better exit out of turn 3 and maybe unfortunately steered a little bit too much and spun. Not exactly sure. But James and Zayek still side by side. And also, we see a car off the track. That's Keemso. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. A Bentley off the track. That's Kane Benny. Or no, that's James. James off the track. James and I think Zayek made contact there. Keensome also involved in that, and something very, very bad did happen.
Oh, Lara Parch into the wall. And are they out? No. He's not out. They've just about survived that, but there's a big heavy contact again for Jordan.
Oh! Another VSC has been deployed. I guess that's expected, to be honest, because there was so much contact at turn 10 with the wall there. I think something happened. Someone spun or something like that, and there was so much carbon fiber off the track. But that's how it works out in racing. A lot of stuff happening there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. There was a heavy contact there with a number of drivers. I think King's Aim just lost the car a bit in front. the field bunched up behind, and unfortunately some drivers, they couldn't maybe spot the brakes end. I don't know, they seemed to like almost brake on the line and really early, and there was contact behind. I think James lost his front wing potentially and got damaged. Real disaster. And yeah, Lyra Patch also, he spun into the wall. Bit of a disaster for another Jordan, but yeah, there you go, and we're back racing again.
Yeah, it was a disaster for Jordan there, and for a lot of the teams as well. It seems James and Janaldi were caught up in that for Bentley, and Kingsholm also caught up in that, which is not good. But someone that survived is Zayak. Zayak survived after that. Same with King Benny, both drivers up there, as HPO's Worth also in the fight. So Bentley up into a good position, and now we see a similar battle going on for P1 to Portugal. We saw a great battle for the race lead. It was Big Weir and HPO's Worth in a fight for the win, and now once again they join each other on track. And this time, will it be redemption for Big Weir, who will take the win, or will HPO's Worth overtake Big Weir once again and win this Bahrain Grand Prix to win 2 races during the season?
It feels like Portugal all over again, doesn't it? But this time there's 28 laps remaining, and they're on different tyres. Lots of things happening. Prior-Tips round again into the wall. Another Ford disaster. He's got to be so careful. He needs to get off the track before anyone comes through. He's just done it.
I think he'll get out of the way of Pistol Racing. He will. Good news for Pistol, who's not going to be set back by the spin by the Ford driver, but it really has not gone well for the Ford team today, as prior Thib, that spin did not help him out. Waitsy out of the race. I think Sad Pancake is down the order, and now we have Pistol Racing going for the move on prior Thib. Lucas Paul into the pit lane. He's going to drop down the order. It has not gone well for Ford today. One team I think that has actually a really good job in today's race is Braun. Braun has done a really good job here in Bahrain. Zayak and Cass in P4 and P5. Pistol Racing making a move on prior Thib to get up into P8. And Gronfeld making his way through the field as well after the contact. So they've recovered well and now are in a good position.
No, you're right. They have recovered really well, and they've got to be happy with that. Bentley and Braun have both recovered really well from, and they're going to have some good points from the last race, sprint race, and they're going to have some good points here, hopefully, based on what's going on track right now. But conversely to that, Jordan, I've just seen Anthony spin off again. Jordan not doing too well again. Ford, another disaster in the race, it looks like, for some of them again. So it's really all mixed up a bit. Force India stay kind of constant. They're all mixed throughout the field, but this Constructors' Championship is really shaping up quite nicely. The Drivers' Championship is shaping up quite nicely as well, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, this will be interesting. We'll find out in a few moments' time, as the tire strategy is going to be very complicated, I guess, but also quite interesting to witness. So we'll see how that works out as well. Big Weir on the hard compound tires. HPO's Worth on the medium compound tires. Look out for those 2 drivers. And same with Zayak. All 3 drivers actually have to come into the pit lane at some point soon, as Kingsholm sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:30.4 for the Force India driver on the sauce, as it looks like Unsated and Shug's Life side by side. Looks like the Jordan car has got up into P6, and a good recovery drive for Unsainted as well, who's going to make his way through the field. He will have to pit quite soon due to those tires degrading pretty fast, but he has got up into the top 6 once again, so I think Jordan will take any position at this stage.
No, I think they absolutely will. They need the points. The gap is so large, and the Constructors it's really tight for the lead now. They're all really bunched together.
Yes. Hold on a second. We have Shug's Light going for the move on Unsainted. Switchback maneuver for the Force India. Oh, he gets a little bit too much on the power there. I think he hit the back of the wheel of Unsainted there, but it looks like they continue on. Sorry to interrupt what you were saying there, but the battle here was a little too intense for me to miss.
Yeah, this could be potentially, could it be 3 wide here maybe? They're catching Big Way really fast here. As no 2 wide, Benny's looking down the inside, doesn't go for it, but Big Way goes slightly wide, and now they're going to be side by side on the corner exit here.
Ooh, Ooh, it's so close. King Benny gonna go for the overtake on Big Weir now. Here he goes, around the outside. It should be a pretty easy overtake. Big Weir's gonna let him past, and King Benny takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix on lap 14 as Untitled gets a 3-second time penalty in the process of the battle with Shug's life, I do believe. As HBO Swarth still in that battle for P2, and King Benny also has a penalty, so keep an eye on that as well. But this battle, not letting up anytime soon, and it will continue on and show us that this battle will continue on, maybe even for the next few races, and could be for the championship as well, because HBO Swarth has already won a Grand Prix, and Big Weir's won too.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and Big Weir's leading the Drivers' Championship. HR's quite high off, because yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Benny's trying to get out of the DRS. I'm not sure if he'll manage. It's about 1 second, so he might just manage it, actually. By the end of the lap, he needs to break away with that penalty, but Benny hasn't got to come in, but I think he will, because I'm not sure he's going to take that mediums all the way to the end from, I think, lap 3 or something he pitted. And the others have got to come in, so yeah, it's going to have to be interesting to see what happens here and there. Ainsworth's in the DRS a big wave. I'm not sure if he's going to be close enough to get the wave done. He might be, because he saved up his DRS quite well though, and he's coming at him, and he's going to go round the outside into turn 1 and a side by side.
Ooh, I think he's going to back off though, because HBO Swarth actually might be able to make the move into turn 4. Let's see. Big Weir defending. Here comes the second Bentley driver, but Big Weir is not going to let this one pass, as he's going to keep the move, and he's going to keep P2. He let King Benny pass, but he's not going to let HBO Swarth pass, and he knows that HBO is in the battle for the championship as well, as he's up there. He won the Grand Prix in Portugal, so Big Weir, he's defending like a champion against the Bentley driver, and if he gets both of the Bentleys up ahead of him, then that's going to severely hurt his race. But even if he can get right in between these two drivers, like he is right now, this will be really good for Big Weir, because he can start chasing after King Benny, because if he has that second Bentley ahead of him, that second Bentley is going to act as a blockade to that four-seated driver and let the first Bentley, King Benny in this stage, keep ahead and stay ahead pretty much till the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's been fascinating to see what happens with tyres in this race, but HR's going to right all over the back of him again. It's going to be another potentially, I think, DRS move down into turn 1, so we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, all the Bentleys are really in the drivers' fight. They're all in the top 7 in the drivers' standings at the moment, so any one of them is really capable, I think, of pulling out a good result. So we're going to have to wait and see.
Well, HBO Swarth is going to try and make a Max Verstappen move on Charles Leclerc, but this time it's on Big Weir, as HBO Swarth is actually going to back off. He knows that he's got that second DRS zone. He's going to use it wisely, but actually, Big Weir has got the second DRS zone, and he will keep that going, and Big Weir will stay ahead, and that was interesting. So Big Weir will gain a little bit of time because of that DRS, and that could help him to get ahead of HBO Swarth by quite a bit to get out of the DRS range to the Bentley driver in P3. And meanwhile, Zayak is gaining time on these two drivers. 2.8 seconds separating third and fourth position. Zayak is flying out there and trying to chase down the two drivers. He could be going for a podium today.
This is actually critical for the race, because what the other drivers and teams are going to be learning now is, those hard, Big Weir is still slower than HBO Swarth on the mediums, even after 15 laps into the race. That's a large portion of the race that they've been able to get, and the mediums are still faster than the hard, because he's been crawling all over the back of him now for many laps, even in the corners. So that's really interesting. The mediums clearly a much better tyre than the hard.
Yeah, that means that the hards are not the right tire here. So that means like Lucas Paul, Sad Pancake, and Lyra Patch, Gennady, maybe the hards wasn't the right decision, as King Benny, the race leader, is into the pit lane. Does he go on the hards? Is it the mediums? Is it the softs? Let's find out.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see where he re-emerges. I'm thinking Shugs and Pistol might be either Shugs or maybe Pistol. They're going to be the first ones who won't come into the pits again. So where is he coming out in relation to those? That is those two. That is the key question. Shugs is past, is Pistol past?
Ooh, it's close, but Pistol is passed. Keen, oh, actually, maybe not. Keen Benny's coming back at the Brawn driver. This is critical for him to get past. He's going for the switchback maneuver on the Brawn driver. He will have the DRS assisted as well. This should be a pretty easy overtake for the Bentley driver. King Benny up into P5. Oh, actually, Pistol's going to go for the overtake. A very late dive bomb, but it didn't work out because King Benny will stay ahead. Thankfully, no contact between the two drivers, but that was quite late from Pistol Racing. Thankfully, King Benny avoided it nicely, and I think he will stay ahead and stay ahead by 8/10.
Yeah, just tire face, no front wing, I'm pretty sure. So, all good. But yeah, Pistol, bit of a late dive bomb, but Benny was able to get the switchback anyway and get past. So that's really important for him because I think the top three have to come in. And, you know, BKS Castlever might come in. He doesn't have to, he's already done his pit start, but his tires are going to be ruined at the end if he doesn't. And then Shugs may come in, so Benny's got himself in a really good position here for the race.
Yes, this will be good. This will be great for King Benny right now. He's
lead again.
Oh, what? Oh,
lead again.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let's keep an eye on this. Big Weir and HBO Sworth. This is the battle right now. HBO Sworth's going for the switchback maneuver, trying to get the better exit out of turn 3 as Big Weir struggling with ERS. He's trying to save it down the straight. HBO Sworth going around the outside of the Force India driver, but Big Weir stays ahead for now. 10 laps or so remaining in the Grand Prix. HBO Sworth stays behind Big Weir. And the question is, when are these drivers coming into the pit lane?
This is really critical. Like, I would be tempted if I was Big Weir to come into the pits soon, because if he comes into the pits now, we saw where Benny came out. Benny was about 3 seconds in front, right? So if he comes into the pits now, he's looking, I think he'll be right behind this King's Home Anthony Pistol Racing battle, which is absolutely fierce actually in the midfield. I'm watching it go on right now. And those three are really all bunched together as Pistol goes on the inside of Anthony. But if these guys get fighting, he could come out maybe, those two in the lead could come out maybe just in front of that battle, so they'd be right behind Benny. Big Weir could go onto the soft if he holds it out for a couple more laps from those hards. That could be critical for having him try and win the race.
Right, and if he gets that position, if he tries to get ahead of these top 3 drivers, he can start pushing. He's got clear ahead of him, and he'll be faster than all 3 of these drivers. But the downside is, will the tires make it to the end of the Grand Prix? I don't think they will at this stage in the race, as actually Prior Thib has spun off. He's got a 10-second time penalty. Could that cause a VSC or something like that? But HBO Sworth has got ahead of Big Weir. I think those hards have dropped back quite a bit. Unsurprisingly, they have, and that is really unfortunate for Big Weir, who's going to be losing a lot of time. But I expect those mediums to also drop back. But like you mentioned, those hards seem to be dropping off faster than the medium compound tires, and so it's quite surprising for those tires to drop back. And yeah,
the delta, usually you'd expect, obviously the mediums are sort of faster than hards anyway, but you just thought this far into the race the mediums would have lost a lot of performance, but they don't appear to have lost that much performance, relative to the hards at least. They're still faster. He's able to make the overtake, and he's pulling a bigger gap than Big Weir has had for a long time on him. So it's going to be really interesting. I also think HR's worth. He's managed his DRS really well. If we look at telemetry on 44%, when I am commentating now, I refer to him as the master of ERS management because he's always got ERS. He's not one of those drivers. He's not like me. I use up all my ERS way too fast. He manages it so well.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he's a long way ahead in terms of ERS to Big Weir. Big Weir's got around 19% ERS. HBO Sworth, he's got around 50. So he has gained quite a bit, and this has worked out really well for HBO Sworth. He's not using any ERS. He's just keeping it calm, and I think he knows that Big Weir's going to get ahead here. And I think he's okay with that. He's accepted that. And then he's going to have the DRS down to turn 4 and then just get ahead. That's kind of how it works here in Bahrain. And maybe that's why he's able to save a little bit more ERS. Could be that, but also he's not pushing as hard. Because the thing is that those mediums, he knows that he doesn't want to push too hard on those mediums or else they'll drop back. And maybe that's why he's able to keep up with Big Weir as well, kind of just staying in the DRS. The problem is that other drivers like King Benny are starting to catch up. And that could be hurtful for HBO Sworth's race and Big Weir as well. So the question is, when are they going to come into the pit lane?
It's got to be soon. They need to get on. I think Rosberg is trying to stretch it for them soft tyres, and because they're not losing that much for the hard, I think he might be able to do it actually. So, yeah, the way he won the Portugal race was being really clever with his DRS. He managed it much better than Big Weir, and Big Weir had nothing to fight with on the last lap when he just sat there and used the DRS and RS all on the last lap to shoot past and take the win. I think he's looking to do something similar today.
A repeat to Portugal, possibly. Let's find out. Well, they're coming around turn 13, so we'll watch on the mini-map if they come into the pit lane. I'm also keeping an eye on the battle for 7th right now, as we have James, Anthony, and Pistol all in a fight, a three-way fight for 7th position. The midfield getting really intense right now. Also, King Benny on the back of Shug's Life, and starting to catch up to that Force India. Oh, is that his Unsainted out of the race? He has made contact with his teammate. Is that a full course safety car? Yes!
Perfect stop. He's in the pit. Big Weir's come into the pit at the perfect time.
Oh my goodness! That was absolutely perfection for Big Weir. You're absolutely correct. King Benny may get ahead, but Big Weir's gonna be right behind the Bentley driver. This is perfect for Big Weir. Zayak and HBO Swarth will also come into the pit lane and will come out, I do believe, in 3rd and 4th, I do believe. So Zayak will come out in 4th. HBO Swarth, I think, will come out in 3rd. And I think King Benny will take the lead of the Grand Prix with Big Weir in 2nd.
I think you're dead right, but will Benny sacrifice track position?
That's a good thought.
Yeah, will he want those soft tyres? Does he think, if he's got the pace, maybe he'll stay out. And maybe he thinks he can hold most of them behind. But if he pits, he's lost all his tyre advantage. But we've seen he's got pace, so will he use that pace?
If he does that, that means that he's going to have to defend like crazy. That's something we've never seen. I mean, we've seen some great defense drives from a lot of drivers in this league, but if he stays out in those mediums, he's going to have to defend like crazy, so it might be worth it to pit onto the softs.
He would only lose, I'm thinking, maybe 2 or 3 extra positions, to where maybe 3 or 4 overall, based on where he would be if he didn't pit. And he could gain something back with the pace we know he's got. So, maybe he will come in. I think he might come in.
Well, we'll find out in a few corners' time. He's coming down the back straight now, looking to possibly stay out or come in. We'll find out. HBO Swarth and Zayak unsurprisingly come into the pit lane now, as they will pit onto the soft compound tires. What's King Benny going to do? Is he going to stay out? Yeah, no, he does not. He comes into the pit lane, onto the softs, as expected from us two. He is going to come into the pit lane, and he's going to risk it. That means Big Weir will take the lead of the Grand Prix, I think, with that as well. I think Cass will jump ahead of King Benny into 4th, and I think it will be Big Weir in P1, HBO Swarth in P2, and Zayak in P3. That is the top 3 in today's race. And Cass will jump ahead of King Benny as expected, and also Shug's Life will jump ahead of King Benny. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was really close to HBO Swarth and Big Weir out of the pits, actually. It was really close to on track before the safety car, and they've obviously come out like that as well. Big Weir is just in front. He's going to be able to get his DRS back up to 100% now, and the battle again from Portugal is going to resume here.
It is. You're right. It is. So we'll see how this works out. This could be very, very intense between these drivers here. Portuguese Grand Prix repeat, possibly, here in Bahrain between HBO Swarth and Big Weir. It was a final lap battle in the Portuguese Grand Prix for round 1. We'll see if it will be today. I mean, 22 laps into this one. We still have laps remaining. Safety car should be going into the pit lane on the next lap. And then we'll see the race resumed on lap 24. And that's when we'll see possible 4 to 5 lap race. And we'll see what will happen. Big Weir's got to defend against HBO Swarth, and we know he manages ERS very well. So maybe could he be doing this? Could he be grabbing a possible race victory? And another driver we have to talk about is Zayak. Zayak P3, he's going for a very, very good result in today's race. But we'll see. Could Zayak grab a podium? And if I'm not mistaken, would that be his first podium in LFR?
That is a good question, actually. It's his first podium in Thursdays, as far as I'm aware, and he definitely hasn't got one on Mondays, as far as I'm aware, and I don't think he's got one on Tuesdays. So yes, I think you're right. That would in fact be his first podium in LFR. So yeah, we're gonna have to. He's gonna be looking to get that, but will he be able to hold on with BKS, with Shugs and Benny behind James, last season's champion. They're going to be really fast, and it's actually really interesting looking at the drivers that are up here in the top. Let's call it, well, top 7. Let's say, just look at it to make it simpler, because Pistol's not in the race yet. So you've got Big Weir in the lead. He's first in the championship. H. Bosworth in second. He's 4th in the championship. Zayak in 3rd is 14th in the championship. BKS in 4th is in 6th in the championship. Shugs in 5th. He's 11th in the championship. Benny in 6th is 7th in the championship, and James in 7th is 2nd in the championship. So you've got a lot of the big hitters there. 1st, 2nd, 4th, 6th and 7th in the championship, all in the current top 7.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that could be... That's actually really interesting. So that means that all these drivers, all the drivers in the top 7, are really going to be maximizing good results in today's race. If they can get a good result, that puts them ahead of their championship contenders. And this is actually going to be really interesting because the championship leaders right now, Big Weir and James, that is kind of where they are. Big Weir in P1, James in P7. P1 and P2 in the championship right now. And like you mentioned, with all your statistics, your stats there, it's going to be very interesting to see how this works out. You know, this is going to be one of the most intense races because they want to make sure they get a good result for the championship as well. And I'm assuming this season will end before the new game comes out, right?
I'd have to get that confirmed, but yes, I'm pretty sure it's about when. I think the game gets released on the just after the penultimate round. So I think the final race of this season will be just as the new game gets released. So yeah, that'll be in Saudi Arabia.
Interesting. So that means viewers that this might be a shorter championship. So that means every point really does count. Every point will count in today's race. So we'll find out what happens in just a moment's time because the safety car is coming in this lap. Big Weir will lead us away. Will he do what he did in the sprint race and go a little bit early, or will he go a little bit later? Maybe surprise a few of these drivers and go for an unexpected restart to the Grand Prix. So we'll see if he decides to restart at a certain position point or he goes to the same place. We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah, we will see what happens, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can get the restart. But yeah, you're right, 12 races this season is, so let's see what happens.
Big Weir goes a little bit later. He's back in the field up. And he goes now. HBO Sworth also got a really good exit though. Zayak is side by side with HBO Sworth. Cass in the fight as well. King Benny in this one as well. Big Weir leads us away. Zayak and HBO Sworth side by side. It's almost 4 wide down into turn 1 as we see King Benny and Zayak side by side. A little bit of contact between the two. King Benny, I think, will get ahead of Zayak though. There was a little bit of contact. But I think it continues on. Zayak's trying to go around the outside. He sees the opportunity to do that, but King Benny will get ahead. And Zayak is going to have to live to fight for another day. He's going to have to come back in the next lap or so as King Benny takes over as the leader of that queue there. But look at this battle for the race lead. Oh, as we see a Ford off the track. Big Weir in P1, separated by 0.3 of a second. HBO Sworth will try and make the move on Big Weir. And this is a total repeat to Portugal, just in different positions, really.
Yeah, they're both burning the RS at the moment, but obviously H. Bosworth still managed to save it up for slightly better because he's at 80%, whereas Big Weir is only just in the mid-60s. So already you see the different styles of the RS management coming through, and H. Bosworth's really managing his quite well.
Yeah, he is. He is managing it very well as he does. I think you called him the ERS King. I think you said. What was it?
Yeah, something like that. I can't even remember myself. The RS Master or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, well, he is mastering it quite well. He's 70% ERS, trying to chase after Big Weir. King Benny in the fight as well. Zayak in P4, 7/10, separating 3rd and 4th. He's got to make sure that he keeps on this battle for the top 3 in today's race. And if Zayak is able to get up there, that'd be a great result for him in today's race. As he just got to make sure that he keeps ahead and of Cass, and also is going to be right on the back of King Benny as well. That'll be good for him. So we'll catch back up with Zayak in a bit as we see a yellow flag in the back. I think that might be one of the Fords or the Jordans. I do believe that is Lucas Paul off the track at turn 2. As he's going to recover, and he's going to be into P14. Anthony in the top 10 as well. That's great news. So Jordan right now will be scoring just 1 car in that position. 2 cars out of the race. Lyre Patch in P15, so he will score 1 point in today's race. So Jordan will get 2 cars in there. As actually Kinsum has made it up into P10. He's overtaken Anthony in the Jordan car. So very interesting to see that. But Keen Benny closer and closer to his teammate HBO Sworth. Is there a chance that these two will do a driver a car swatch, swap? I can't say that word for some reason, but Keen Benny, will they oh my goodness, I cannot speak right now. Bentley, will they put Keen Benny ahead of HBO Sworth, or will they keep HBO Sworth ahead of Keen Benny? What's the question there? What is the thoughts on that process?
I wouldn't, just because of Benny's time penalty. It's
oh, you're right.
Good. Actually, Big Weir is used pretty much all of his ERS. It's limiting his top speed down the straights, and I saw that H was caught up much more quickly there. If he manages it carefully here, hopefully he starts to, for himself, if he wants to win, although he's used quite a chunk there, but let's see how he manages it through the rest of the lap. He's sticking with him. If he can stick with him and build up the RS for the straights, he could potentially be looking at a move in the final few laps. But as Lucas Paul DNFs in the session, could there be another late twist here?
Ooh, that could be a safety car, maybe a VSC.
Is it in the pits? I can't tell. Is it in the pits? It might be in the pits.
It is, I do believe.
It's not. Oh. Okay, so no late twist. But Benny was on the back of H Bosworth there, but he's got the DRS again. They're both managing the ERS fairly similarly now, but the gap is staying there, and all he's got to do is just sit behind him and slowly build it up, and maybe the move could be on. So we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be intense. We are on lap 26 out of lap 29, beginning lap 27. We will have 3 laps to go in this race. It's a 3-lap shootout for the race victory. Keen Benny right behind HBO Sworth, but what has happened is DRS is now enabled. Big Weir is losing a little bit of ERS. I think this could be the overtake for HBO Sworth into turn 4. He's using this zone as a closing zone. He's got to get a good exit out of turn 2 and turn 3. It's actually an okay exit. It's a better exit than Big Weir. It seems Big Weir is just able to pull away with the straight line speed. He's a little bit too far ahead for HBO Sworth to make the move. And there we go. Cass making the move on Zayak. This is the battle for P4. Zayak keeps ahead, I do believe. And this is the battle for the podium as well, because King Benny is in P3. It's the battle between these two drivers. This is for the podium between these two teammates as well. Groenfelder up into P6 as well, as Groenfeld into a top 6 position, and that means both, actually all 3 bronze are in the top 6.
Yeah, no, the bronze, wow. Yeah, they're going to have to be happy with that, aren't they? The bronze have really come strong this race with the point scoring system that we've got, a lot of drivers getting points, but they're going to get big points, and that's going to be really helpful for the championship, as H.R. Sworth is really, really close.
He is. He's really close to Big Weir, 0.5 of a second, and this might be this lap. We'll see how this works out. Also, great battle going on for P6 right now. James and Groenfeld in a side-by-side action between those two drivers. Keep an eye on that one as well, viewers, as HBO Sworth try and make the move on Big Weir. We enter lap 28, the penultimate penultimate lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. HBO Sworth is right behind Big Weir. The gap now has shrunken to 0.2 of a second now between first and second, as Zayak is round. Zayak and King Benny have made contact. King Benny's out. King Benny's out on the race. Zayak down to P7. Both drivers have made contact, and that means King Benny's out of the race. Pistol out of the Grand Prix as well. And what was going also well for Braun has turned into an absolute disaster for the team, as there's also another car off the track. That's Groenfeld. Another Braun in the wall there. And this is a horrible lap for Braun. 3 cars have really gone down the order. Zayak is back up to P5, though. Cass in P3. Braun should still get a podium, but that means that this is all or nothing for HBO Sworth. This is almost an exact replica to the Portugal race in Portimao, where HBO Sworth made the move in the final lap of the Grand Prix. Could this happen again here in Bahrain?
It could happen again here in Bahrain, but Big Weir's got in slightly out of position this time, I feel like. He's got slightly more ERS. It's going to be so close. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens here. He's got no attack from behind now either. His teammate's gone. it's all or nothing really here for the lead. He either gets it or he doesn't, but we'll see.
This is it. This is it, viewers. This is it. HBO Sworth, DRS enabled, ERS enabled. He's trying to make that move on Big Weir as he's pulling to the outside line. Big Weir defends the inside. HBO Sworth trying to go around the outside of the Force India driver on the final lap of the Grand Prix here in Bahrain. HBO Sworth right behind the Force India. Big Weir has got the position. No, he's using everything he's got to stay ahead of the Bentley driver, and that is it. That is it. He cannot make a move into this particular section, so Big Weir will stay ahead. Into Sector 1 we come. HBO Sworth will stay in P2, but he's got one more DRS zone. One more DRS zone to try and make history repeat itself. HBO Sworth, can he make the move on Big Weir? I think it's done. I don't think he can, as Big Weir has got the gap.
I think you might be right. He's got one more DRS zone, which is this one, but it's not long enough for him to make the move. This is just a closing zone point. If he can get close enough, could he perhaps try something? But it's going to be very difficult to get close enough to be able to make a move in any of the corners here. They're all very long and twisty, and it's winding and flowing, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to do anything. BKS is right on the back of H. Bosworth, but again, I'm not sure anything's going on here, but we'll see. These three, it's been a cracking race, all really close together. As actually, BKS is right over the back of H. Bosworth here. Could BKS get the position at the final corner?
He's going to do it. Cass has done it. Cass is going to try and get the move as HBO Sworth coming back at him, but Cass is going to get on the final corner. But it is this man. 3 in a row. Big Weir wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. He won in Austria. He won in Spain. And Big Weir wins in Bahrain. It is the win for Big Weir here in the Formula 4 Championship. 1, 2, 3. He has won the second round. He has won the third round. And he wins here in round 4. Cass on the final lap of the Grand Prix, on the final corner of the Grand Prix. Cass takes it the position off of HBO Sworth. The Bentley driver used too much ERS. Cass took advantage of that. He took advantage of that and got up into P2, a commanding victory for Force India, a commanding podium for Braun as well, as they made a good recovery drive after a devastating lap 28. HBO Sworth and James make it 2 Bentleys in the top 5, with Zaya completing the top 5. But I gotta say, what a result for Big Weir, the winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix here in Sakir. He wins once again. It is 3 races in a row. It is 3 wins in a row for the man in the Force India team. What a result for him.
It is what a result, and 3 races in a row. It's really putting him in a good position in the championship. He's really going to be extending that lead, and can he be stopped? There's a lot of races left in the season, certainly, but he's building up himself a nice buffer of points, and the constructors is really getting really tight on what a move by Cass on the last lap there to take the second place from H. Bosworth. That was a great move.
Yeah, it was a great move. It was absolutely phenomenal. Congrats to him on that one. He does it. It's phenomenal from him. And he wins the race. Big Weir, the winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix, from 8th on the grid to 1st. Congrats to him on that one. Cass in P2 for the Braun team, with HBO Sworth in P3. James P4, Zayak P5, Anthony P6. Jordan grabbed some good points in today's race. Congrats to him, and congrats to Jordan after a difficult first couple of races. Sad Pancake comes home in P7 with Shugzai from P8, Keen's home P9, and Gronfeld rounding off the top 10. And that completes everything here in Bahrain. What a race. Absolutely phenomenal from everyone today. Big Weir wins the race, and wow, absolutely phenomenal. The podium may have looked a little bit different if there was not contact with Keen, Benny, and Zayak. I'm not sure if the stewards will look into that one to see what will happen with Keen, Benny, and Zayak there. But that means that yeah, that means that HBO Sworth was able to get, Cass was able to get up into P3 and also make that move into P2 and get ahead of HBO Sworth. So that's good news for the Braun driver, but congrats to Big Weir. What a result, and what a Bahrain Grand Prix. Absolutely phenomenal from these drivers.
Yeah, no, it was a phenomenal Grand Prix, and the drivers drove so well. My prediction also wasn't too bad either. I had Cass and Big Weir on the podium, which is 2 out of 3, so I guess not bad.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. It was great to see that. Absolutely phenomenal from all these drivers today. And your prediction was pretty close, I gotta say. That was pretty close. But yeah, what a race. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, the championship's shaping up really well, isn't it? I think
It is.
Big Way's got a margin, but it could be really closed down really quickly. And the driver, the team standings, wow, it's mental. And we could have even been going to the last race of the season already thinking about it. Maybe even having to do mental maths ourselves to try and work out who's going to be taking the lead of the constructors championship if they're really close at the end of the season. That could be quite exciting.
That definitely could be. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal to see how that works out. The lead of the championship could be swapping hands between the drivers and constructors championships, as you mentioned. We'll see how that works out in due time, and it should be pretty interesting. But what a Bahrain Grand Prix. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, drivers, for racing a good race out there. And I gotta ask the question to you, Isaac, before we sign off. What is the next race? Unfortunately, I could not find it on the Discord server, but do you know what the next race is going to be?
In fact, I do know what the next race is, and it's Belgium, full qualifying format. That's going to be an exciting one.
I love the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. It's my favorite circuit, actually, on the F1 calendar. It's going to be exciting. It always is. Spa always shows us a great race.
It is always exciting. All them historic corner names, the run to the source, everything, rain, anything could happen.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything can happen at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, so we'll see how that works out. Join us then, viewers, for the next one. That'll be the Belgian Grand Prix. That'll be next week, same exact time. But I gotta say, before we sign off, Isaac, thank you so much for commentating with me. It is a pleasure, as always, to join you in the commentary booth, and I cannot wait to do it in the next one.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you this race, and yeah, hopefully we're back later on in the season with more commentary, and gonna see how this fight develops throughout the season.
Definitely, yeah. It should be pretty cool to witness. So we'll see how that works out. But viewers, want to say thank you again for joining us in the stream here. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you again to Isaac for joining me in the commentary booth, and thank you to all the drivers that raced as well. But we will be back in 2 days for the LSR stream. It'll be another Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll be heading to round 6 for the Bahrain Grand Prix of Group 2. Then after that, on Sunday, we'll be heading to Group 1 for their Bahrain Grand Prix event. And then after that, we'll head into the next week following with the Monday and Tuesday divisions of LFR. But from the LFR Formula 4 Championship, thank you very much for joining us. I've been Formula Jonah, that's Isaac, and we'll see you all in the next one in Belgium. See you all. Goodbye.